What's going on YouTube? Orstorm here. Got my boy Giovanni here. He's going to be showing you his Blue Eyes Chaos Max check. So what was your record today?
Our record was 4 wins and 4 losses.
Yeah, so about average, but I think it's still pretty good for a deck like Blue Eyes Chaos Max. So why did you choose this particular deck today?
Well, for one, it's a deck I really like. It's just I always wanted to play Max Dragon build, but for the most part, I just want to see how we'll do in the regional qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still pretty cool. So I think I had some cool things about the list. So go ahead and show us the list. Let's see the spice.
Standard, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons is necessary in a Blue Eyes.
Yeah, like you're not gonna talk too much about him. We know.
Again,
Real
has anybody seen
That's in case
an
if you
iPhone
Blue Eyes White
6s?
Dragon.
Gets rid of a problem monsters and it counts Blue Eyes in the grave, so you can banish it.
If you have, please bring it to the front.
You can banish it with the Chaos form.
3 Chaos Max Dragons. These are just generically the big beat 6 out.
Yeah.
And 2 Chaos Dragons.
So from what I saw is that these two combo together, so can you explain that very quickly?
Alright, so whenever Chaos Dragon is ritual summoned using a Blue Eyes White Dragon, if it attacks, you can switch the battle positions of all monsters on the field, and their attack is reduced to 0. And it makes it easier for Chaos Max to just hit for 8k.
Right, so if you have this, and they have a monster that's not a link monster, obviously, and then you make this, it's going to be game, because it's going to be 8,000 straight to the face, so...
Pretty much.
So, and I guess it just helps make the OTK more consistent. But, and it makes sense to me.
Alright.
3 Manjus.
Try the online hearings again.
Just to search out your ritual spells and ritual monsters.
Yeah, I mean, in a deck where you're not playing, Sage or a lot of that other stuff, it's pretty good.
Alright, now here's the slice. 3 Incantation Candles, 3 Incantation Tasmandras.
So for these monsters, do the Blue Eyes ritual spells, do they require specific levels in order to summon the rituals?
They don't. So for these, they just search out your ritual spells and ritual monsters equally. So if you have one in the hand, you reveal one to add the other one back to the hand, and vice versa.
Sense. Yeah, and it's just extra consistency. If you have one, grab the other, bam, pop off, go for game. Makes sense. Yeah.
Gets your searches out faster.
Yeah, and it's also like it also, if your opponent happens to take this with mind control, it locks them out of link summon.
Also, one thing I forgot to explain, the ritual monsters have a built-in effect that you cannot target them, and they cannot be destroyed by card effects, your opponent's card effects, so it kind of makes it easier to manage, so your opponent will have to play around it by battle.
Yeah, right, because if you look at the current decks right now, I mean, people are playing Boral Sword, but, I mean, that's not going to get over Chaos Max. People aren't playing Borreload as much, so it does help to kind of like... And most of the decks right now have some form of targeting removal, like Sky Striker, for example, so it makes sense. It works really well.
2 Ash Blossoms, that's just to negate searches, just in general.
Yeah, best girl, yeah, you gotta have her.
Slap that Ash.
Right? Slap that Ash at the table.
2 Winter Cherries.
So, why did you choose Winter Cherries over other hand traps?
In this deck, whenever you summon incantation monsters, they really don't let you summon from the extra deck. So my extra deck is purely cherry targets.
Makes sense. So like, you have the room, like might as well, and it hits. You hit Kagari with it. You keep your opponent from loading your Chaos Max.
Yeah.
Still pretty good card. I saw a lot of people playing it today.
Good spice tech in this deck.
Oh yeah.
Nightmare Cover Up.
They should be going up right now.
The reason why is this will get you your OTK faster, believe it or not. You normal summon Nibbly, link it off, and that way you give it to your opponent in defense. Chaos Max will attack it for pretty much game.
Yeah, so it's just another combo enabler. So like you actually you play 2 because it's a good normal summon. You don't care about like drawing it unlike most other decks. So it's it for the monsters, correct?
Yes.
Alrighty, so let's get to the spells.
Alright.
Expensive card.
3 Bingo Machine Goes. These are kind of essential in the deck. They help you draw pretty much your Chaos Dragons, Blue Eyes, alternatives, and the search out Chaos Dragon.
Right, it's just like a little bit of extra consistency for the ritual build. I think that's really important.
Over there, making his way to the back.
3 Chaos Forms, that's just to ritual summon the monsters.
Yeah, and it can banish Blue Eyes from the grave as cost. That's pretty nice.
3 Advanced Ritual Arts, that's just to speed up your ritual summons faster.
Yeah.
It also helps out get Chaos Dragon's effect, because it was... for the effect to go off, you need to ritual summon it using a normal Blue Eyes monster.
Makes sense, yeah. So.
Alright, A through H is now officially up on the
3
doors.
melees.
Over in the
This
back
is just to
right
help you
corner.
get your ritual monsters
I
out
through Q
fast
is
in the hand.
also up.
Or if you need to, which I occasionally do this, add an alternative in a Blue Eyes for just in case. It has happened in the past before.
Yeah, it's just a good consistency card. I feel like if you're playing Blue Eyes, you gotta have it.
3 Called by the
You are
Graves.
going to
2
be
Called by the
moving
Graves.
on.
Wish was at 3.
I wish it was
Patient
3. 2
to
Called by the
volunteer
Graves.
name
This is
on
just
the
to get rid of hand traps or monsters with effects that
We don't want to
wanna
see
activate.
things like raid, etc. There's a
Is
lot
it
of stuff
working
in
now?
hits.
Just summoning
and 2
it
Cosmic
comes up, it
Cyclones
goes
just to
down.
get rid of
Work.
back row.
Yeah, interesting call. So why Cosmic over like
Work.
Twin Twisters or other back row removal? You just wanted the 1-for-1.
Well, in this deck, Twin Twisters pitching for cost actually hurts you. I'd rather pitch for cost for Melody.
It makes sense. Yeah. So that's,
So I'm willing to. Plus, it banishes. So if there's a troublesome card like the Cosmo Town, which I rarely played, or surprisingly, Sky Striker Area 0.
yeah, because it won't get its float effect. It also hits keeps them from. If you hit it and engage with it, it can be okay. It can hit multi-roll. Pretty good little card. I'm kind of interested to see if this thing ever does come back, because I think it's a pretty dang good card. So that's it for the spells?
That's it for the spells.
All
and
right,
no
so-
traps.
No traps, because we want to smack our opponent in the face. Alrighty, so you want to do extra deck or side deck?
For extra deck.
Alrighty, just because, we barely use it, but...
Alright. 2 Link Disciples. Now, this card is mainly to get off Nightmare Iblis.
Right, so because you don't want Mermaid lowering the attack of your monsters, kind of defeats the purpose of your deck.
I considered playing Mermaid, but it does hinder me because I don't really run links. It would reduce my monsters by 1,000, which I don't want. I want to get a quick OTK. And also this, I run 2 just in case if my opponent decides to Iblis me.
So it gives you something to make, right? Makes sense.
Also, if you special summon, like let's say your incantations, it can help you fix your hand because you contribute it, draw a card. And,
Right, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good, but probably about the only thing you're making.
The rest is just cherry targets, so it'll be
Gari, yeah, I saw you drop that today.
Shizuku, Firewall.
Ban this boy. Ban this boy.
He sold.
Yeah, like I saw a lot of people like actually playing the this is like honestly like this is one of the better Reaper targets right now. It's really good.
Saryuja, you'd be surprised how many times you want to activate the cherries and just call Saryuja.
Yeah, because you can read a Saryuja play coming from a mile away when they have 4 monsters out. It's pretty easy to read.
Dante, because Burning Abyss is still relevant.
Apparently in 2018.
Electromite, just in case if I see Pendulum players.
Yeah. No! Put it to 3!
Topologic. This is just a card I threw in there just in case, because people do tend to crash into like my Max Dragons, and I'll still burn for 4,000.
Yeah, exactly. That's not something you want.
Also, if you have lost a phone of some
This
kind
is the card you
that is black,
mainly want to hit immediately if you know
if
your
I would
opponent's
have
playing
lost
it.
iPhone, we didn't find it. It isn't that one.
Because this
Sorry.
card could actually
It
take
is
your Max
not
Dragons.
one of the bullets
If
around
you're
it.
playing an incantations on the field, they take your Max Dragon. Your Max Dragon will pretty much
Smack you out.
smack you for 8k. Have a taste of real
It's a
medicine.
salty face. Yeah, no, you don't want that.
Check if you lost your
Just
phone.
in case if I get to resolve it, negate spells pretty well.
Yeah.
Cyber Dragons just for Cyber Dragon players. And Utopia. That's in case I don't want my opponent to resolve
Lightning, yeah,
Lightning.
It makes sense because like if they are playing lightning, it makes sense because you're not playing Return of the Dragon Lord, so your Max doesn't have that extra protection. So you want it just in case, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense.
Speaking of Return of Dragon Lords, the one reason why I don't run it in this deck is because you can't really bring back Chaos Max or Chaos Dragon because they have to be summoned by ritual summoning.
Yeah, so it does make sense. I mean, you're not gonna have Blue Eyes sitting on the grave as much. So you want to go ahead and move on to the side deck,
All right, it's for side deck. We don't have much.
but it's better than nothing.
2 red reboots.
Interesting. So like I've noted. How was this for you today? Because I noticed a lot of people I didn't see a lot of back row decks running around today. How was this today?
This is just in case if my opponent decides to play back row heavy. I did duel an Altergeist player today.
And Red Reboot hits
And
Altergeist.
Red Reboot kind of saved my duel right there.
Yeah.
You pay half your life points, but it really doesn't matter since you're just aiming to OTK immediately.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 9,000 on, you're gonna have 7,000 online easy. Like you should be OTKing them if they're under Red Reboot, especially Altergeist.
2 draw and locks. That's just in case if my opponent decides to keep adding cards to the hand or
Yeah, it is danger FTK, and that's one of the main things. I mean, it's not as good as it once was, but it's still, I think, a side deck staple minimum. definitely.
And the last 4 cards, the new incantations that were released in Soul Fusion.
So I guess you just didn't have room for these in the main deck because it's at a tight 40 cards, right?
It's a type 40 cards, and I don't really want to run this in the actual main build. This is just in case if I feel like I need a fast recovery.
Right, because, you know, everyone's main decking Ash and all these other hand traps, so it does make sense. I mean,
So this
definitely.
one you just reveal Ritual Spell, I believe. Yes, reveal Ritual Spell. And you basically have access to all your incantations, but if you resolves on the field by special summoning to the deck, you could get back a Ritual Monster.
So it's like
no,
a...
you could get a Ritual Spell, my bad.
So like the other one fetches a ritual monster back, right?
This
So-
one will fetch a Ritual Spell from your grave and add it back to your hand. This one will fetch a Ritual Monster back.
So it's in case like you think you need a recovery play if they ask you like your initial
Yeah.
play. It makes sense.
And these just in general work with all the incantations. And with I believe the new support that should come out in Savage Strike,
Looks like most of us are seated.
this will work with the
If
new
you're gonna
incantations.
spectate-
Yeah,
which
I
will
mean,
stand.
sure you're
those I've
doing
seen
so
online playing
from
these
a
are playing like
reasonable distance. Don't stand too
60
close.
cards and like just because you're playing so many incantations and like you
Make sure you are
want
communicating
multiples. You
effectively with your
only want one
opponent.
incantation in your hand. Is what
Last
I'm
round
saying.
we had
So
way
it does
too
make
many
sense
she
not to
said,
have
she
these
said.
in the main deck.
There shouldn't be
With
any
the new
disagreement
ritual spell that's
about
coming
how
out,
the card
though,
activation went down.
The ritual spell does
Should
not
just be
have
you
a
attempted, they said
summon
okay.
limit, so you could use all your
You attempted,
incantations and
they
just go off
negated.
for
Nothing
different
more.
rituals.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Again, you're responsible
Anyways,
for
guys,
knowing
if
the
Bot
cards
comes
in
in your
your
deck
deck and what
profile,
they
leave you
do.
guys think down in the comment section down below. As always, I thank you
You
guys
may
for watching.
begin the
Zorstorm
final
signing out.
round.